YouTube, how you doing? Raj here, back again with another fragrance review. To be honest, it's been a couple of months since I've done a review of just one fragrance, and so yeah, it feels good to be talking about just one fragrance in the review. Today, my focus is going to be on Creed and their fragrance Royal Oud. Pretty much gone through the whole 10 ml decant here, and yeah, just going to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, which I feel is definitely more of a sophisticated type scent. It's definitely more, I feel, on the mature side. That doesn't mean it has to be worn by an older person, just somebody who is a little bit more mature in their personality. This is Creed's interpretation of an oud scent. One thing I admire about the brand is that they have their signature style, and they will put their signature style on in all of their scents. So this is maybe a little bit of a departure from some of the typical Creed fragrances, but still within the Creed style. It's not the cheapest, but it can be had for a discount if you look hard enough. Top notes of lemon, pink pepper and bergamot. Middle notes of angelica, galbanum and cedar. And in the base there is oud, sandalwood and musk. So yeah, you know, I said it's a little bit more on the sophisticated side, definitely a good one for work, more formal evenings. It's not maybe a going out fragrance in terms of a party, you know, club, bar. Not really. I think there's better choices out there, but it could work. It definitely has a versatility, definitely one to be worn in almost all seasons, probably not summer, but it's pretty versatile fragrance, I found. So what do I get out of Creed's Royal Oud? Well, in the opening there is this kind of slightly weird cedar, ashtray, lemon, peppery accord, which is a little bit strange. So this hand, it is nice. The lemon just does push through a little bit more, making it a little bit less harsh, and it is a nice opening, but this ashtray vibe, I just can't get it out of my head. It doesn't smell like bad cigarettes, to be honest, but it smells like the scent of an ashtray after all the ash and smoke has been put in there, with a few other notes making it much better than what that sounds like. The pink pepper note is in here is pretty good, and it's quite noticeable actually. Now that I've smelt a lot of fragrances from Ormond Jane, which uses pink pepper almost on like a regular basis, so that note, when I've been smelling those fragrances from that house, has started to become a little bit more easy to identify in this opening. As the fragrance goes on, the cedar pushes through really strong, and I actually think it's the main accord, the most dominant note in this entire fragrance. It's called Royal Oud, and I'll come on to that in a little bit later. For me, it's really all about, it's a very woody fragrance. Quite dry, really bone dry. I know there's lemon in here, there's galbanum, which could add, which, you know, sometimes can add a very obviously a citrus and a green, almost herbal type effect, but it's overshadowed by the cedar, which just takes over, to be honest, and a mild pepper note. So it's called Royal Oud, and oud is listed as a base note. Does it smell like oud to me? Well, the thing is, you know, unless you're an expert in oud, you're not going to know the answer. It's a very complex note. Many people will tell you they know what oud is, but they may know it in a synthetic form, which is fine. A lot of fragrances in the Western market, and actually just fragrances in general, will use a synthetic oud. And so smelling the real thing is a whole different ball game, to be honest, depending on where it's sourced from, what country, the age, the grade. There's so many different factors. So I know what real oud smells like. I know what synthetic oud smells like. Have I smelt this anywhere in my you know, in my experience? No, to be honest. And as I said, it smells more like cedar. So some people will say that it has no oud in the fragrance, and very defiantly say there's no oud in Creed's Royal Oud, as if they're like the perfumer and they know the composition in and out. But I'm not going to dispute that. If Creed are telling me there is, I think it's Indian oud in there, it could be in there, but in a very small percentage. Creed are not the type of company who are going to create a skanky oud fragrance, but they've done it in their style, and it's definitely something that I admire. So you've got this slightly lemony, this pepperiness, and this cedarwood, and a smokiness coming from the base, which is probably the oud shining through. and it's a good fragrance. I have to admit, it's definitely a good fragrance. It doesn't really do enough for me to make me want to buy a full bottle. I find it too dry, you know, that kind of dryness. It doesn't, there's no sweetness from the citrus, there's no fruitiness, there's no greenness. It's just bone dry from pretty much start to finish. But I can see why this would be, why this is a popular choice, and I think this is actually a really great scent for the workplace, depending on where you work. Definitely office, I'm thinking about. So yeah, it lasts a long time, all day, no complaints here. Definitely projects off my skin nicely, moderately, without being anything too crazy. And in my rating of Creed's Royal Oud, I'm going to go with a 7.5 out of 10. It ticks a lot of boxes, to be honest, and is I don't really have many bad things to say about it. It just doesn't have the wow factor that I look for nowadays when I'm looking to buy a full bottle. But I would recommend it. Yeah, so would you recommend this fragrance? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's okay? Do you think it's pretty bad? One of the best from Creed, would you say that? It's definitely different, that's for sure. So guys, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to check out my Facebook channel. I haven't done any updates recently, but you can always go back and have a look at the previous posts. I like to give you updates on my scent of the day, maybe stuff that I've bought recently. Try and incorporate some lifestyle stuff in there, some images, you know. It's something that I need to probably post a little bit more, but there you go, I don't always have the time. So yeah, check that out, and look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks for the support. See you soon. Bye.